Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Dummy Detective Roundtable. This is almost our whole cast. This is a lot of the people that can talk to you about all our fun and crazy adventures on the set of the Dummy Detective, getting to play with all these little wooden people and having a great time doing this amazing noir film created by Jonathan Geffner, who has been a ventriloquist for what, 25 years, Jonathan?
Oh, I've lost count. I could recount now and tell you that it's been about 35 years.
35. Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't think you were old enough. Maybe you started when you were 10.
Yeah. Yeah, I started when I was 2 years old, right?
All right, cool. All of us were brought together on this amazing project, and we're still really friendly with each other. And we've done other collaborations with each other, and I think it will continue for a long time. This was a very special project in my heart, and I know a lot of other people felt the same way. And so we're all here to talk about all our amazing experiences and share with you some of the adventures we had on this crazy and gorgeous set.
Yes, well, welcome to everybody, and it's nice to have this kind of reunion. We've had a couple of talks with a couple of you here and there, and now we've got more of you together, which is really nice for me. And since we didn't get to talk or to have a recorded talk yet with Kristin and Hari, so I'd like to start with the two of you to just recount a little bit about your experience with the film. What was it like? How different or not was it from other projects? I mean, in some ways it was obviously different with the dummies as being parts of the cast. So what do you recall about your experience and how it was to shoot this film? So Kristin, you want to begin?
The fun thing, I think, between Hari and I is we were supposed to be having a romantic affair. And obviously, I've got about 40 years on him. So, if it had been the switch and he'd been the old guy and I'd been the young female, nobody would have thought twice. But anyway, as it worked out, Hari wound up riding with me to set every day and home. And so we bonded. We got the chemistry going, one way or another. It really helped when we were on set because we were able to have a lot more fun with each other and feel comfortable and pull each other's sleeve a little bit. Just a little nudge here and there and not worry that you're going to offend somebody too much.
Hari, how about you? What was it like, your experience as you recall shooting this?
As Kristen mentioned, like, being able to go to set and come back together. I think that really, sort of built our chemistry together. We didn't have to like depend upon like, oh, maybe we need like these extra workshops to get, everything flowing. It worked out perfectly in that way. I feel also like beyond like we were able to like take it beyond the script as well. And that's pretty reflective on the screen as well. And I mean, again, like I've never worked on a feature with puppets, to be honest.
Yeah.
So like, that was also like a different experience. Like, talking to a puppet, for example, like, having a conversation, with a puppet and making it seem like it's genuine and real. Again, like, we got wonderful direction as well, from Rob. So, and I think that came out beautifully on screen.
Well, that part was easy for me because my character was horrified by this wooden puppet thing.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly in the script, but I had all kinds of sort of not so flattering names for it. And I didn't want to be near it and I didn't want to touch it or see it. Anyway, no problem. I had no problem with that one.
Mhm.
I think just another point I wanted to add was also like, yeah, playing a gigolo as well. That's again something that I've never done before. So, I got to have a lot of fun with it. Like, things which, again, one of the reasons that I got into acting was because things that I can't do in reality, I can do it in scripted moments. That's another like sort of thing ticked off the bucket list, which is to be a gigolo. So, yeah.
Oh, well, that
Okay.
that's always the fun part about, acting and whatever. I always get the rich lady roles, so I love to think that I'm a rich lady in real life, but it as long as I can play one, I'm at least rich half the time, you know.
Hari, I wouldn't give up on the idea of being a gigolo in real life. Give it a shot. You know, you can do
I
it.
will. Yeah, if this one doesn't work, then yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Anything surprise you about the shoot and how it went? Any of the experiences?
Very long hours, but there was so we had so much fun while we were hanging around, you know. So I seem to recall the lighting guy took a long time to set up. So we always had plenty of time in between to have a couple snacks or tell a couple jokes, or it
Yeah.
it made for more bonding time.
Yeah, that was Michael Fisher, who did a great job as the gaffer, lighting person, as did Yuri, cinematographer, who was wonderful. And so between the two of them, they had to coordinate, obviously. I was really happy with the work they did, but they were also under the gun, as we all were, because the 11-day shoot in total to shoot this film was really crazy, but we had to do it to
Yeah.
stick to the budget. So that created tense moments. Rob was always trying to get things moving as he had to as the director, and then Michael and Yuri were always trying to steal more time because they wanted everything to look good. So, I
Hmm.
mean, everybody was doing what they're supposed to do, but it just is a problem.
But they got good compromise. I remember like there was one little ding dong about I think for Dinky, the my puppet, Mr. Black's puppet, when he's there's tears. And that was a scene that you were very adamant about wanting to have. And Rob was just, look, time is ebbing, blah, 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 blah. But Yuri and the guys, they figured out a way to do it. And they said, look, it's not going to take that long. Just let us do it. And they did. And it's like one of the more beautiful bits in the film.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were both very, very gifted filmmakers, those two. They made
Yeah.
they made it look fabulous. So no complaints there. I'm just saying it gave us more time to, socialize, bond, and maybe eat too many candy bars.
I loved how it gave us a moment to like really rehearse because we didn't get a chance to rehearse prior. So, while they were setting up, we were able to run through the lines and run through the lines and block things out. And I think that was one of the really cool things too, having Sean on set. Like a lot of those bigger scenes, like she was helping us all with the blocking and everything else because she's been on, massive sets since she was a baby. So, it was really valuable having her on set to help in those moments that we had time in between setups. There was a great beauty to that because while it took them longer to set up, we were able to then nail things in like 2 or 3 takes max because we were so well rehearsed. As a kid, I always got a very bad report on my report card. Use this time wisely. I always was given like the NA, like, not applicable, like she's awful. She can't. But like now in film, it's like, having a squirrel brain actually helps. It's like, okay, well, while that's happening, I'm going to go do this. And while this is going on, I'll go do that. So, I'm glad I didn't master it in elementary school because now I can enjoy it more.
Yeah, and
But
to back
yeah,
up what yeah, and to back up what Deb's saying, I mean, and Rob was actually pretty good too when we had these rehearsal periods, because he was very good actually at giving people little business, little things you
yeah.
wouldn't have thought of doing. It's like walk into the room, like my very first scene, walk into the room and while you're doing, peel this orange and make sure you've eaten it by the time the scene is done. And it's like a really good little piece of business. And just some of the more sort of slapstick aspects, I thought he had like often very, very good suggestions. I mean, particularly like Harry and I had this big fight up in my room, which I really wasn't planning for. But Rob just said, go for it. And we were like, just like hot as hell by the time we were done because it was actually really exhausting. But
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun. And it was a very comfortable, and just filming in this bed and breakfast and having places where you could, relax and sit and not feeling like, you're in some crowded dressing room sitting on a umbrella or something. It was a really comfortable place to shoot.
Yeah, for
That's,
people, for
yeah.
viewers who didn't see the film yet, it was one location mainly. Almost the entire film was in the one location. There was one other location for what turned out to be the first two scenes in the movie, which was at a nightclub in Newark, New Jersey. But the rest of it was at a bed and breakfast called Les Saisons in real life, and we kept the name. We thought that was a cool name, so I had working titles, different possible names, but then we decided just. We'll keep that name, and so it's Les Saisons in our movie as well, this bed and breakfast. When you see the movie, almost everything is shot in and around that actual building. It was a great location. I mean, it fit very well in my image, very close to what I imagined I'd like it, the setting to be.
And Art Christensen, the owner, one of his only requirements was, that he and his wife had a cameo in the film. And we did a film. I was in another film that was shot there a few months later, and that was one of the stipulations. They must have a bit where they can
Ah,
walk down the stairs or something and wave at them. So it's very cute.
And I did another film there as well. And I wrote them in as being my father and stepmother. And so I gave them a big scene, and I told them I had a two camera setup. So I was like, look, we're just going to improvise. Okay. This is what happens. So they were very comfortable and just natural because they didn't have to memorize lines. And it was a lot of fun. And yeah, that was a really good time. Yeah, there's a lot of good things that have come from Jonathan's film, and I'm hoping more will follow because I just had such a great time on that movie, and I like it so much. And I do have to say, back to Rob, there were some really definitely funny moments that Rob. Yes, I agree with you, Ed. Like what the stuff on the stairs with the cat. There was some really good stuff that Rob was like, "Hey, why don't you try this?" and "Hey, why don't you try that?" And yeah, we did that scene. That was one in particular that we did several times. And I think it was because like a lot of the lighting, there were a lot of issues because it was on the stairs. So like light had to come from the top and from the side. And yeah, every time in between the setups of trying to fix the light a little bit more, Rob would come up with an extra little bit, an extra little bit, an extra little bit. And then even like that one moment when Hari, you wink at me when I'm like totally devastated. That's just so, and I know that's in the script, but the way you did it is just so hilarious. And it was so hard to hold a straight face and keep crying after that because it was just, oh man, it was so funny. I just love that. There's so much good humor in this film. It's great.
Those winks, they are what sold me actually at the audition, at the callback, Hari. Just to let you know, I liked your performance overall in the callback. There's another actor who also was very good. I was considering for the role, but then with your wink just nailed it for you. I mean, when the way you did that, I remember turning to Sabrina, who's my daughter, who was also helping me do the casting, and I said, "Oh, it's hard. Look at how he does that wink." So. Was there anything that was challenging? I mean, there are a lot of positives which we started to enumerate and allude to about shooting this and the location and all. But what would you say if there was anything that turned out to be challenging about the shoot, about the role itself, or about the circumstances of the shoot, or anything else? Kristen, anything come to mind, or was it
yeah.
all
Oh, yeah.
perfect?
I think the thing that was the weirdest was they had this little cot in the office that was barely big enough for one person, right? It was just like a little fold up cot. And then Rob made Hari and I be in bed together. And I mean, we had our clothes on, but still, it was very intense. And then they had the camera, Yuri had the camera track going over our bodies. So we were totally enclosed like two sardines in a little can. And I did appreciate Yuri was very good about being clear about when he was starting and all that because it was so distracting. I don't think I even heard Rob say action or anything. It was sort of like, okay. And I again, if we hadn't been as comfortable with each other as we were, that scene would have been so awkward.
And then there was the
But
big syringe.
yeah, and he had that out, but it's when
Yes.
we had to be in that bed squashed together. It was very tight. Anyway, I don't know. Harry can give his opinion on that.
To be honest, it was just the usual challenges as an actor, which is, knowing your lines and stuff. And I think again, like, just working with such brilliant actors as well. They at least for me, they made my life a whole lot easier, just being able to play off of them, like, scenes with you, Jonathan, with you, Ed, with Kristen, with Deb, with Sean, like, all great actors. and just being, I didn't have to stress about like, oh, am I getting it right? Like, if they were doing it right, I just had to play it off of them. And, they hit the nail like 99.9% of the time, So like I really didn't have to worry about like, oh, I have to like carry this big burden and stuff because again, I was able to play off of such brilliant actors.
We were under the gun, of course, with having to shoot quickly, which meant that we could never do a lot of takes of anything. Do you have a feeling about whether you feel more pro or more con? Because, of course, it would be great to have more options. I would have liked to have more options with the. I guess I'm asking you, but I'll just throw out my feeling about it. First is that, yeah, in a perfect world, I would have liked to have a lot more time and to have more takes for more choices in editing. But there is one thing good about it is that it really kind of forced everybody to focus really hard and when you know that you got one or two maybe takes, three at the most, so it's like you got to really focus and try to nail it. Do you feel
Yeah,
that way
no,
or
I,
is
I
it
I
different?
completely agree with that because I think you've got to make decisions, and you're forced in this case to make a decision. Plus, I think also one nice thing about the set was it was very easy if you weren't sure. Like I had like when I'm doing my radio show, I have several little monologues that I had memorized, but I'd always forget what order they came in. And it was nice to be able. There was always some little place you could tuck some notes and little hideaways. I know other people on the set were doing that too, and I think having that's the stress of not, if you forgot a line, you know where you could go find it. I think that helped people too, especially because we were trying to get everything in so tightly.
I like doing less takes. I like rehearsing
Yeah,
a lot and then like really keeping it fresh and keeping things moving. I love that. I love working that way. I don't like it really bothers me. I've worked with some people that will want to do like 10, 15, 20 takes. And they're just a lot of times they're just amateurs really and they heard once that, some famous director did 800 takes and so they're trying to like,
Kramer.
flex and swing their big dick or whatever. So it I like it when it's like I think less is more, and if you've worked on your character, you've memorized your lines, you've done all your work, you show up to set, you're ready. You don't need to like beat a dead horse.
And plus, also, they were exhausting days. And to Deb,
Yeah.
I completely agree with Deb. And if we had to do like 30 takes of something at like 2 in the morning when you've been, waiting 3 hours for your show, it's awful.
Yeah.
So Robert Altman, he's not a relative of yours, Ed, is he? The
I
director.
am no relation. But when I
Robert
went to
Altman.
SUNY Purchase, people thought he was, and I got treated special. I got treated nicer.
Ah.
Yeah, so famous director, and Deb would not have enjoyed working with him. I don't know if any of you would have, because I read that he was notorious for that, for doing 100 takes and driving the actors
Like
insane.
Stanley Kramer too on The Shining. I mean, all these horror stories from
Oh
Shelley
right,
Duvall and all having to
no,
film the same scene like 60, 70 times.
oh,
Oh,
I think
I,
him even more so. Maybe I'm confusing them too. I think Altman also was known for that, but I
Maybe.
think but I think you're right that Stanley Kramer even more so. Yeah, The Shining, those
Stanley,
are notorious stories.
wait, Stanley Kubrick, right?
Kubrick.
Kubrick, yes, Kubrick.
You guys are
Sorry, yes.
freaking me out.
I
I'm like, is this like one of those like
I
timeline shifts where
I
like,
shared Ed's brain
That's
fart.
right. Yes.
Yes, Kubrick, right.
We knew what we meant.
I know
Yeah.
you knew, but I was like, wait a second.
Yes, Ed and I being on the same brain
Am,
length
am I from a different universe? It's all
ventriloquist
cool.
thing we have in common.
It's all good. It's all good. But yeah,
We
I
can
like that.
shine.
A lot of, but there are guys now, and I've dealt with two, but only two, thank goodness, that had never actually directed before, and they were obsessed with doing like 30 takes. And it was just like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, clearly, you read somewhere that that's what a big director does. And so you think that that's going to make you a big director. No, you look like an asshole that doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. So, anyway,
Yeah,
yeah.
well, our shoot was more
What do you
like,
really think?
huh,
No,
go
what,
ahead.
Ed? Oh, what?
What do you really think? No, because I've been through that too with shoots and all that, and a lot of it I assumed it could be also amateurism, but it also could be they only have one camera, they're not really sure about the sound guy, and they're just doing it 30 times so they can splice together something that looks reasonable at the end. Then they're afraid that they won't be able to get it in one take, even if it's brilliantly done.
Even if all those things are an issue, you get 5 takes. You don't
Yeah,
do
yeah,
30.
yeah.
And if the actors are that terrible that, you
Hmm.
need 30 takes, then it's time to fire your actor and get someone that knows how to actually do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not a very patient person when it comes to that kind of stuff. And a lot of times it is like I've even heard people talk about this where like a director will talk about how that's the best way to beat down an actor and find that raw thing inside. Because when you actually exhaust them and you strip away their ego and you make them think that they are, I mean, that's one of the things that Kubrick, it was notorious that that's what he
Yeah.
did to Shelley
Uh,
Duvall. Like
uh,
she actually, had to recover. Like one of the reasons she left the industry for a while was because of The Shining, because he would make her do like 100 takes and made her feel so horrible
yeah.
and question the fact that she had if she had any talent whatsoever. And it's known that that's what many times a director will do, to find that raw space inside the place where you finally get triggered and it's like, why? Like, what is your problem? So yeah, I just find it fascinating. And that's the I mean, you know many times every independent film has an issue, like you every time before we even shot this. I was telling Rob this story about how, like, at the beginning of every shoot that I have, I gather everyone together and I say to them, I'm like, look, right now on our first day we're all like best friends, we're so excited, everything's great, but I guarantee you that one of you is going to be that monkey wrench that gets thrown into the machine that tries to destroy everything. And just so you know, as soon as I find out who that person is, you're going to be fired. But we know that that's coming, so I'm just waiting to see who it is. Other than that, have a great shoot. and then, and literally, like within the first 3 days, it's revealed, and I fire them, and then everything's smooth sailing. But the thing is, like every shoot has an issue, and it's so funny. I told Rob that story, so you can extrapolate from that as you will, Jonathan, the way things went and everything else. But I find it funny. Like I mean, there were a lot of great things that happened because of the fact that Rob was so experienced with so many different movies and things like that. So I mean, there was a lot of benefit, and he was really good at getting that side the sidekick girl that he brought from LA, Anna, to go and get like the free food from all the restaurants and all that stuff. I mean, that was really good because I know for myself, like I've spent thousands before on craft service, and because of how many people were there, you had a lot of people in the crew and the cast. So it was really good that they were able to actually get free dinners and things like that. That saved a lot of money. So there were some really great things that were of immense benefit having, Rob in particular be the guy. He brought Yuri, who then also brought Michael.
Rob is very experienced at shooting fast and cheap, but maintaining quality. So
Yep.
that's what I needed. That's really the only way it was feasible. So we went ahead and did that. So, certain things like that all came together to make this even possible.
Well, I mean, the whole thing was surprising. The B&B was fabulous. I found that a big surprise when we first arrived, how it just it was like a buffet. It had everything you wanted and more. Um, but I knew Rob in advance. I'd known him for a couple of years, and so I had not worked with him before. So it was a pleasure to get to work with him and get used to he had a very relaxed kind of style about him that I found very nice. Felt the whole experience. Everybody in the cast was so warm and friendly. You had great food. The editor, I remember sitting around chatting with him as he was editing and hearing things. Just everybody was just wonderful to work with. It was a great experience.
That's nice to hear. And Hari, anything you'd like to add or comes to mind about your experience there? Anything that might have surprised you or was different from what you expected or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, again, like there were a couple of shots where like, I had to look into the mirror and like, comb my hair and stuff. like, and like do it in a very sort of like an over dramatic kind of a way as well, just like fitting in into the theme of the entire movie as well. Rob really helped me with those kinds of shots. Um, and I mean, besides that, for me, like it was great, like seeing our assistant cinematographer, John Carlo. It was great seeing a familiar face in him on set. So like once I got the call sheet and I saw his name, I was like, "Oh, John, are you doing the shoot?" And he was like, "Yeah." And just seeing a familiar face like that on set was really nice. But apart from that, I mean, yeah, again, this very indie style filmmaking as well, where we're like on one we're just on one location. We got to move quickly. Like I'm someone who does a lot of theater as well, especially like very low budget theater. So it felt a lot like like doing like a play as well, like having to think on your feet. And I think just I was able to bring that experience over into this, even though the medium was different.
How would you describe your character, Hari? Because every actor has to feel close to their character, even if it's a bad character, even an evil character, right? There's something you have to identify, find something that you can feel you can identify with, and but so I'm saying good or bad. But how would you just describe your character?
He's very dumb. He's he's definitely one of the dumbest characters I've played. And but I mean, again, like the script that you wrote was so detailed as well that I didn't really have to do any kind of extra kind of like research or work or something like how do I do this? How do I do that? The script again, like a script like makes or breaks anything like a play or a film. And this one, like the script was so tight and well written. A good script always makes an actor's job a whole lot easier, even if you're not, like a good actor as well. Like, I think the script just elevated. Like the script just elevated everything for us. A great combination is always like, a good script and great actors. And I think, we're able to witness that magic on screen as well. So, definitely like the script, the well-written script made my life a whole lot easier. He's definitely one of the dumbest characters that I've played. But also at the same time, like I think one thing that I can take away from him is, the kind of unabashed confidence that he has as well. That's, a good takeaway from all of this. It's something that I can incorporate into my own life. So yeah.
And Kristen, what would you say in defense of Mrs. Grimsley, your character? Because I think it's not too much of a spoiler to say that she's a rather difficult personality to deal with from anyone else's perspective. However, from her perspective, what would Mrs. Grimsley say in her own defense of how she sees the world?
The world is my oyster, and it's there for me to take whatever I want or need. I think that I married a guy who was a little older, who had the money, and I enjoy that lifestyle. And if that means I can pick up, I get the sense that I met Hari's character, the doctor, as somehow as a friend. Oh, there's this guy. He does really great work. So he was an alternative type doctor, but I thought he somehow I got attached to him, whether he tickled the right bone, the right place, or I was looking for something interesting. Life was just too boring lately. I do think that there's always that element, um, well, for any of us, but I think especially for the rich and unemployed types, they have a lot of free time. So, why not look for something to spice life up a little bit, So I think Mrs. Grimsley, she was just trying to live her life the way she's used to living in a very high level way, but she can have a little fun too. And why not? I think I deserved it.
So, what about your current or upcoming projects? Anything you could share with us, and also where people could follow you? Best place to follow your careers before we wrap this up now. So, maybe we'll start with you, Kristen.
Oh, okay. As long as I'm talking here,
Right.
well, I will just say that I wrote my second screenplay for a short film that may wind up getting turned into a long film, but I entered just the script in a few competitions, and the first one is in Cannes, and I was a winner. So, um, I'm looking forward to, I've got just a few more things. I've applied for a grant and stuff like that. So I'm hoping this summer at some point to shoot this film and then get it going. And otherwise, I'm actually I realized, Ed, you may have auditioned for something called Hell's Half Acre. Um,
Yes.
I'm I am in a again, we did a short last summer and the guy got funding to do a whole feature-length film based on this historical novel, I guess
That
you'd
was it.
call
Yeah.
it, because it's based on truth, but the guy has filled it out with his imagination. So it's what you call a historical novel, right? Anyway, he's directing his own film, and I am a German immigrant, yeah, because of my opera singing, I do German, yeah. So I am a older German lady who lives in Kansas with three other people, and we are a family of serial killers. So we have bodies in the basement and bodies in the backyard, and yeah, I just anyway, I have little comments here and there.
I know that Deborah has to run, but maybe you could just quickly tell us, Deb, of where people can best follow your projects.
So much of my stuff is on Tubi. All you have to do is look for Deborah Twiss, DeborahTwiss. I have a new show a movie that just came out, Crave, which Ed is actually in, and so is Sean. That came out, that's doing very well. Taboo Family Secrets, Sebastian, Sapiosexual, Crazy Town, a series that I created is on Tubi as well. I mean, they're in other places too, but Tubi, at least you can go and see it for free and you don't have to pay or anything. And that seems to make it a lot easier for people. And then I have A Gun for Jennifer. All these things are all over on Tubi. And then also, I'm diving deep and I'm into biohacking and peptides and red light therapy and all this stuff. And so I decided to partner with a bunch of people, and I'm doing all these deals and ambassador things. So I'm trying to build my TikTok. And right now I mean, I've never ever paid attention to it because I hate that, but I need to get like at least 1,000 followers. So if people can come and follow me on TikTok, I'm just Deborah Twiss 212 or Deborah Twiss 535. I don't know how TikTok really works. I'm trying to figure it out, but I do work for Studio in Manhattan, TikTok Shop Live. It's this really great group of these sweet Chinese women from um, Beijing and Singapore, and I'm not Singapore, Shanghai. But yeah, they're so amazing, and that's what I have to run and do right now. I have to go sell rugs. But it's a lot of fun, and so I basically get paid to like do these commercials. So anybody that's interested in it too, let me know because they're always looking for new hosts, and it's a great gig to have as like some kind of supplemental income to let you know. That's like a great thing. And I've been doing it since the beginning of January, and it's really saved me, got me out of some jams, I'll tell you that.
So everybody out there, follow Deb and especially check out all her films. She's a very talented filmmaker, having written, produced, directed, edited a whole bunch of films. You probably lost count by now, right? But you mentioned a few of them.
Yeah, I don't remember how many there are, but I have like four coming up,
Oh, wow.
starting next month. And yeah, there's a lot of things. And I'm also going to Amsterdam to star in a movie that was written for me called the Diary of a Porn Star. That should be a lot of fun. The writer, it's basically a monologue, a 2 hour long monologue. So I got to get on that soon. But yeah, in June I'm going for 10 days to film that. So that should be pretty interesting.
Well, we'll let you go, Deb. I don't want to make you late. I know you have to run. So
Thank
we'll
you.
let
Yeah,
you
I have
go
to
and
go
finish
sell
up.
rugs.
Okay, thanks for joining us today, Deb.
Hi,
Thank
Deborah.
you. Great seeing you guys. Mwah.
Take care.
Bye.
You
Steve,
too. Bye. And hopefully we'll work together on something again soon. All right. Bye, you
Yeah.
guys.
Kristin, how could people follow you, follow your career and your activities?
I have my website, KristinSamuelson.com. I'm on Instagram, Kristin Who Talks, but I also always say I'm Kristin. I have two I's because people want to spell it Kristen, and I'm Kristin. So Kristin Who Talks. I'm on Facebook, Kristin Samuelson. I don't know. It'll look like me. And LinkedIn, I'm on, but I don't do TikTok. I'm too old fashioned, I guess. I'm doing a lot of auditions. I've shot a couple of commercials recently. You may see me trying to sell you some Medicare. Um, and who knows? I did there. Let's just say I've been having a lot of callbacks lately, which I'm happy. It just seems like my career is going in a good direction. So just keep posted for more.
Great, thank you. And Hari, any current or upcoming projects you'd like to mention, and then where people can follow you?
Yeah, so right now I'm in rehearsals for a production of Shakespeare's Twelfth Night. So we'll be performing that at the El Barrio Art Space in East Harlem. We're opening on April 23rd and we run till May 3rd. I'm playing Sir Andrew Aguchick in that. This one's being produced by a theater company called Tier 5. Um, so that's my main focus right now for this month leading into May. Besides that, I shot a short in Utah like a few months ago called The Bird Bomber. So we submitted it to Tribeca, so let's see what happens with that. Besides that, I shot a feature called The Audition back in December, which again, like I think hopefully by the summer or the fall it should release on Tubi. And besides that, again, pretty much just the same, like auditions, like callbacks for like different theater companies. So I think it might be mostly theater centric, like probably for the summer leading into the fall. So yeah.
Nice. And the best place to follow you or places to follow
Yeah.
you?
So the best place to follow me would be on Instagram. My username is Bhaskaretan, which is Bhaskaretan. That's where you can follow me for most of my work. Yeah, I'm not really active on TikTok and Facebook. So yeah, Instagram's the best place.
Great. And Ed,
I
current
don't
and
want
upcoming
anyone to know
project.
what the hell I'm doing. It's none of their business. I'm on Facebook and LinkedIn, and I also have a pretty big mailing list. So whenever I do something I want people to know about, I like to contact them directly. As far as upcoming things, I did my first vertical a couple of months ago, and that's actually now out. And that was like more fun to do than I thought it would have been, because the scripts can sometimes be really dumb. Another film, the other film I was mentioning before that we did at Les Saisons, that actually Sean is in briefly, and actually you and Deb saw it at the screening, called Top Hate. That is going through the festivals now, and I think we're going to try and maybe go the Film Hub route and get it, streamed soon. And that's actually a cute movie. Other than that, I've actually in recent weeks have had more auditions and a couple of callbacks. So there's a couple of things I'm waiting to hear about, and hopefully we'll keep moving.
And for people to follow you, or do you prefer that everybody ignore you?
I prefer they ignore. No, I mean, on my profile and everything, I'm not very good about this. I mean, I do post things on Facebook and LinkedIn where appropriate, but mostly Facebook.
Great.
TikTok, I'm not near, and Instagram, I have an account, but I really don't use it.
Okay, well, thank you, everybody. And thank you to Deb in absentia now, who was with us until just the other minute. She had to run to catch a train, but it was great catching up with all you guys.
Same here.
And for all of you out there, if you have not watched The Dummy Detective yet, why not? So you can see it for free on Tubi. You can see it for free on Plex. In many countries, it's free with subscription on Amazon Prime, and it's on a few other channels as well. So it's all over the place. Go to thedummydetectivemovie.com. That's your source for everything related to this movie. It's always updated with the current channels, and we expect even more channels to join the roster soon. And it also has links to social media, everything related to this movie and the stuff that I do. It's all there. TheDummyDetectiveMovie.com. Thanks again, everybody. Great to see you, and we'll see you soon.
Jonathan.